All right, picture this. It's your birthday, but instead of cake, your friends show up with spices. A massive cloud of spices. Sounds crazy, right? Well, in Denmark, it's a real thing. Let's get into this fascinating and, yeah, kind of messy tradition. So, you're turning 25. You've got all your best friends around you, but instead of presents, they're holding cinnamon. And I mean, a lot of it. The big question is just why? Why on earth would they do that? Well, we are absolutely going to find out. Okay, first things first. How does this whole spicy surprise actually work? Let's break down let's call them the rules of the game for the lucky, or maybe unlucky, birthday person. It's actually pretty simple.
So, the magic number here, the first one anyway, is 25. Yep, 25. This whole thing is specifically for that big quarter-century milestone. It's the first time this really unique Danish custom even comes up.
The criteria are super specific. There are really only two things. One, you've got to be turning 25. And two, you have to be unmarried. If you check both of those boxes, bam, your friends have the official green light to douse you head to toe in cinnamon.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds awful, like some kind of punishment, but it's really not. You have to remember, this is a totally lighthearted, informal thing. It's a prank, sure, but it's one done with love, between close friends, and it's always, always consensual. It's all about having a good laugh, not making anyone feel bad.
But still, where did an idea this wild even come from? The why behind it all is actually buried deep in history, and honestly, it might be even more interesting than the tradition itself. So let's jump back in time a bit.
The way this whole thing evolved is just fascinating. It all goes back centuries to traveling spice merchants. I mean, these guys were constantly on the road, so a lot of them just never got married. And over time, the very spices they were selling became a symbol of being single. Fast forward a few hundred years, and that idea eventually morphed into the playful cinnamon tradition we see today.
And there was even a name for them. They were called peppersvens, which literally translates to peppermen. Think about that. Their whole identity was wrapped up in their job and their life on the move, a life that, yeah, often meant they stayed bachelors. This right here is the historical anchor for the entire tradition.
And this is where you see a really huge shift in meaning, right? For those original pepperman, being unmarried wasn't a choice, it was just a side effect of their job. But today, being single at 25 is just a life stage. And instead of it being this quiet, unspoken thing, it becomes the reason for a huge, loud, spicy party with your friends. It's like a way of filling a page in your life story that might otherwise just get overlooked.
But wait, there's more. What happens if you're still single when the next big birthday rolls around? Oh, the tradition doesn't just repeat itself. No, it escalates.
You heard me right. The next key number is 30. So if you find yourself unmarried on your 30th birthday, your friends aren't just going to bring out the cinnamon again, they bring an upgrade.
At 30, the spice gets a serious promotion. The whole tradition levels up to pepper. This is a direct callback to those original peppersvens, the peppermen. And let me tell you, it's way more elaborate, way more dramatic, and for sure a lot more pungent. Okay, so we've covered the what, the when, and the historical why. But what does all of this really mean today in modern Danish culture? Because, as you can probably guess, it's about a whole lot more than just spices. Here's the crucial point. This is not about shaming anyone for being single. Not at all. It's a social ritual that takes a milestone that some people might feel a little weird or heavy about, and it completely flips it. It turns it into a moment of shared joy and just pure hilarious laughter.
When you really think about it, this tradition is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It totally reflects that dry Danish sense of humor, it forges even stronger bonds between friends, and maybe most importantly, it writes a big, bold story on a page that our society sometimes leaves blank. It just goes to show you, something as simple as a kitchen spice can carry some serious cultural meaning.
At its heart, this is all about making sure that every chapter of a person's life gets noticed. It's a powerful, maybe a little messy statement that you don't need a wedding or some other traditional milestone to have a reason to celebrate. It's all about making sure no page is left blank, filling every single stage of life with a good story, great friends, and yeah, a whole lot of cinnamon.
So that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? What if we all adopted a bit of this philosophy? What if every single blank page in our lives, every transition, every in-between moment, wasn't seen as something to rush past, but as a real reason for a communal celebration? It really makes you think.